I stood there, boots sinking into the cracked dirt of my ranch, staring at that damn oak tree like it was the last shred of my soul still breathing. It wasn't much, hell, just a scrawny-ass sapling barely clinging to life, but to me, it was everything. I'd slammed it into the ground with my own two hands the day I bought this godforsaken patch of nowhere, a middle finger to the universe that kept screwing me over. That tree. It was for Lily, my little girl, who'd never scramble up its branches, never giggle like she used to when she'd chase fireflies in the dusk. And for Sarah, my wife, the only one who ever kept me from drowning in my own shit, until that night, that fucking nightmare, tore them both away. I can still hear it, you know, the tires screaming bloody murder, the rain hammering down like it wanted to drown us before the crash even hit. I was behind the wheel, Sarah next to me, her hand resting on my arm like always, Lily in the back humming some tune about rainbows. Then, bam, out of the black, this asshole truck, some drunk son of a bitch barreling down the wrong lane, smashed into us like a goddamn wrecking ball. Metal shrieked, glass exploded, and Sarah's scream, it cut off so fast it still haunts me. I tried to swerve, to do something, anything, but the wheel locked up, and the world flipped upside down. I clawed at the wreckage, blood dripping into my eyes, yelling their names until my throat was raw, but I couldn't move. Pinned like a damn animal in a trap. Next thing I knew, I woke up in a sterile hospital room, machines beeping, a nurse with pity in her eyes telling me they didn't make it. My girls, gone. And me? Left behind, scarred up and breathing, like some sick cosmic joke. The guilt's a beast, man, a fucking monster that chews me up every damn day. What if I'd taken the back road? Left 5 minutes earlier? Slowed down when the rain got bad? I replay that night over and over, like a busted record stuck on the worst track. I should have died with them, hell, I wanted to. But I didn't, so I dragged my sorry ass out here to this ranch, thinking I could outrun the ghosts. Fat chance. They're everywhere, whispering in the wind, staring back from the shadows. The silence out here. It's louder than a gunshot, broken only by a goat bleating or the wind rattling that oak tree, my one lifeline, the only thing keeping me from eating a bullet. I planted that tree for Lily. Dug into the dirt until my hands bled, every shovelful a prayer to keep her memory alive. I'd sit there sometimes, tracing her name in the bark, talking to her like she could hear me. You'd love this place, kiddo, I'd mutter. You'd climb that tree till the sun went down. It was my sanctuary, my last stand against the void. But now, fuck me, some uptight bitch named Victoria Blackwood and her bullshit HOA crew want to rip it out. Unauthorized vegetation, they call it. Violates standards. Screw their standards. This is my land, my blood, my goddamn heart rooted in that soil, and they think they can just waltz in with their clipboards and fake smiles. Hell no. I crushed their fancy little letter in my fist, tossed it into the fire pit, and watched it burn. They're coming for more than a tree, they're coming for the last piece of me that's still human. I've fought wars, stared down death with a rifle in my hands, but this? This is personal, a knife to the gut. They want a fight. They'll get one. I've got nothing left to lose, and I'll be damned if I let them take her from me again. That oak tree stands there, small but tough as nails, and I swear on everything I've lost, I'll protect it with my life. Days out here drag on, a blur of feeding livestock, fixing fences, trying to keep my head above water. But that tree. It's my anchor. I'd sit under it, let the tears fall, let the grief rip me apart. It's where I feel them, Sarah and Lily, closer than anywhere else. And now, with Blackwood's threat hanging over me like a storm cloud, I'm gearing up. Old military habits kick in, motion sensors, cameras, a few tripwires around the property. Overkill? Maybe. But I've seen what happens when you let your guard down. They'll come, and I'll be ready. Bring it on, you bastards. I dare you. The air out here was starting to stink of trouble, and it wasn't just the goats shitting up the barn. Ever since I torched that first HOA notice from Victoria Blackwood, the bitch had been gunning for me like I'd pissed in her goddamn Cheerios. She wasn't some nosy neighbor with a clipboard fetish. Oh no, this chick was a whole other beast. Word around town was she'd clawed her way out of some shady underworld gig, whispers of a missing guy in her old stomping grounds trailing her like a bad smell. I didn't give a rat's ass about rumors at first, figured she was just a control freak with too much time. But then she rolled up that day, all polished and smirking like a snake in a sundress, and I knew, this wasn't petty. This was war. It started small, her little welcome packet stuffed with bullshit rules about my fence height and that oak tree, Lily's tree, my fucking lifeline. I'd burned it to ash, but Victoria didn't flinch. She doubled down, her cold eyes locked on me like I was prey she'd been starving to gut. Then came the night I caught that unmarked truck lurking near my north fence, big, black, no plates, just sitting there like a goddamn vulture. I crept closer, flashlight trembling in my grip, and peeked inside. Barrels, dozens of them, stacked tight, some oozing a sickly yellow sludge that reeked like death. Poison, I'd bet my left nut on it, some chemical cocktail to fuck my land 6 ways to Sunday. Before I could snap a photo, the engine roared, and it peeled out, leaving me choking on dust and rage. Next morning, I found her little love note slipped under my door, handwritten, jagged scrawl like she'd carved it with a knife, leave, or this land will devour you, just as it did your family. That hit me like a goddamn freight train, right in the chest where Sarah and Lily still bleed me dry every night. She knew, somehow, that evil bitch knew, and she'd twisted it into a weapon. My hands shook as I crumpled it, picturing her smug face, and I swore I'd bury her before she touched a damn thing I'd built. That oak tree out back. It wasn't just wood and leaves, it was my girls, my ghosts, and no one was torching that memory again. Victoria wasn't playing solo, either. I'd seen the cigar butts piling up near my fence, Damien's calling card, that slimy bastard. He'd been sniffing around, probably dreaming of turning my ranch into some tacky-ass resort while Victoria ran the show. The two of them were a match made in hell, and I was stuck in the crosshairs. Then shit got real. One evening, Max started barking like a lunatic, hackles up, and I found tire tracks cutting deep across my pasture. Someone had been scoping me out, and not for a friendly chat. I rigged up extra cameras that night, hands still raw from planting Lily's tree years back, every creak in the dark making my skin crawl. The kicker came when I caught her voice on the wind, sharp, barking orders to her enforcement crew over a crackling radio. I peeked through the blinds, heart pounding like a war drum, and saw them, shadows in vests, creeping along my property line, flashlights off like they thought they were fucking ninjas. Victoria stood out front, clipboard in hand, pointing at my barn like she owned it. "That tree's next," she snapped, loud enough for me to hear. "Non-compliant, hazardous, gone by dawn." Hazardous? That was my daughter's heartbeat in the bark, you soulless hag. I clenched my fists so hard my knuckles popped, fighting the urge to charge out and snap her neck right there. Sleep didn't come that night. I paced the porch, shotgun propped by the door, Max growling low at my side. The ranch felt like a damn prison now, every rustle in the brush a threat. I'd fought in wars, taken bullets, but this? This was a slow bleed, a knife twisting deeper with every move she made. Victoria wasn't just after my land, she wanted my soul, wanted to rip out the last piece of me that still felt human. And those barrels? If she dumped that poison, my water'd be fucked, my animals dead, my whole damn life up in flames again. I'd lost everything once, Sarah, Lily, my sanity, and I'll be damned if I let her burn me twice. She wanted a fight. Fine. I'd give her a fucking apocalypse. These days were grinding me down, each one feeling like a slow stab to the gut, squeezing my chest tighter than a goddamn noose. Victoria Blackwood had already sunk her fangs into me, those creepy chemical barrels lurking near my north fence, that scribbled thread about my family still clawing at my brain. I hadn't slept a wink since, every shadow on this ranch turning into Sarah or Lily in my head, every creak hitting me like a gunshot I couldn't dodge. That oak tree out back, Lily's tree, my last lifeline, was the only thing keeping me from going completely off the rails. But now, there was a new stink wafting in, and it wasn't just Victoria's toxic bullshit. Someone else was prowling around, leaving crumbs like a cocky bastard who didn't care if I caught on. It all kicked off with those damn cigar butts. I spotted them one morning near my fence, stubby little shits, cheap as hell, their ash smeared into the dirt like someone flipped me the bird. At first, I brushed it off, maybe some dumbass hiker littering my land. But they kept popping up, day after day, always in the same cursed spot, taunting me like a silent, fuck you, that got under my skin. One evening, with the sun dipping low, I bent down and grabbed one. The stench hit me hard, nasty, low-grade tobacco, the kind you'd choke on in a shitty dive bar. This wasn't random. Someone was watching me, marking my territory, and I'd be damned if I let it slide. That night, I couldn't shake the itch. I snatched my flashlight, laced up my boots, and followed the trail, stomping through the brush past my property line. It led me to a clearing, a beat-up matchbook half buried in the mud, the rusty spur scratched across it in faded red. That rat-hole bar was a hangout for every lowlife and hustler in town. My stomach knotted up. I knew who was tied to it, Damien. That slimy real estate prick had been slinking around these parts for years, a washed-up contractor with a rap sheet longer than a country road. Rumor had it he'd torched a rival's place once just to steal a deal. Those cigar butts. They were screaming his name. I didn't even have time to wrap my head around it before all hell broke loose. Past midnight, Max started growling, low and mean, for bristling like he'd sniffed out Satan himself. I shot out of bed, my shotgun already in my hands, and slipped outside. The air was thick, too damn quiet, until I caught it, a sharp clank near the well. I crept closer, heart pounding like a jackhammer, and flicked my light on, 3 sons of bitches in hoodies, prying at the well cover like they owned the joint. What the fuck are you doing? I bellowed, aiming the barrel right at their sorry asses. One bolted like a scared jackrabbit, disappearing into the woods. The other 2 froze, hands up, but before they could spit out some bullshit excuse, a scream tore through the dark. One of them had stepped right into my bear trap, steel jaws snapping shut, blood gushing fast. You bastard, he howled, thrashing like a pig in a slaughterhouse. I didn't blink, swinging the shotgun at the other guy. Spill it, now, or I'll blow your goddamn legs off. Damien, he stammered, eyes bugging out. Damien paid us to screw with your water. Said it'd force you to sell, said he's got big plans. My blood turned cold as ice. Plans. That greasy fuck was teamed up with Victoria, wasn't he? Turning my ranch into some shady-ass resort while she pulled the strings. I called Sheriff Marcus to haul their pathetic hides away, but the damage was done. This wasn't just some annoyance anymore, it was a full-on goddamn ambush. The next afternoon, Damien had the balls to show up at my gate, hair slicked back, fake grin plastered on, stinking of cheap cologne. Rough night, huh, Ethan, he drawled, leaning on his truck like we were pals. I wasn't buying it. Cut the crap, you piece of shit. I know it's you. His smile twitched, showing the snake underneath. Me? Just a guy who sees opportunity. This dump could be a goldmine, a resort, money pouring in. You'd be smart to cash out. I stepped in close, voice low and deadly. This land's mine, and that tree out back. Worth more than your miserable life. So shove your resort up your ass. Damien's mask slipped, eyes narrowing. Big mistake, buddy. You don't know who you're messing with. He sauntered off, but his threat lingered like smoke, a storm brewing I couldn't outrun. That night, I sat on the porch, shotgun across my lap, Max by my side. Damien and Victoria, they were a match made in hell, and they weren't backing off. The cigar butts, the well sabotage, those barrels, it was all tied together, a rope choking the life out of me. But I wasn't breaking. I'd lost too much, Sarah, Lily, my peace, and I'd burn this whole damn world down before they took my ranch. Let M come, I thought, gripping the gun tighter. I'm ready, you fuckers. It started with the rain, days of it, hammering down like God himself was pissed at me. At first, I didn't think much of it, just another shitty week to slog through. But then it didn't stop. The ground turned to mush, my boots sinking deeper with every step, and the creek out back started swelling like a damn monster waking up. By day 3, I knew I was in deep shit. The radio crackled warnings, flash flood alerts, stay off the roads, but out here, I didn't have that luxury. My dirt driveway was the only way in or out, and it was turning into a fucking river. I was out there that morning, soaked to the bone, trying to shore up the fence near Lily's tree. The posts were holding, barely, but the water was rising fast, lapping at the roots like it wanted to rip her memory right out of the ground. Not today, you bastard, I growled, slamming a sandbag down, my hands shaking from cold and fury. That's when I heard it, a roar, deep and guttural, rolling in from upstream. I looked up just in time to see it, a wall of muddy water, churning with debris, barreling straight for me like a goddamn freight train. I barely made it back to the porch, slipping in the mud, heart pounding like a jackhammer. The flood hit hard, tearing through my land with a vengeance. The fence I'd spent weeks building. Gone, snapped like toothpicks, chunks of wood swirling away in the chaos. The barn groaned under the pressure, water slamming against it, and I watched, helpless, as my tractor got swept off like a kid's toy, crashing into the shed with a sickening crunch. Fuck! I yelled, slamming my fist into the railing, the sting nothing compared to the panic clawing my chest. Max was losing his mind, barking at the madness, and then I saw it, a calf, one of my herd, stuck in the current, bleeding like a banshee. Before I could think, Max bolted for it, plunging into the floodwaters. Max, no, you dumbass! I shouted, lunging after him. The water hit me like a brick wall, cold and brutal, dragging me under. I fought back, clawing my way to him, and grabbed his collar just as he reached the calf. The little guy was half drowned, but alive, Max too, thank God. I hauled them both back to higher ground, coughing up mud, my lungs burning, legs shaking like I'd run a damn marathon. That's when I spotted it, a motorboat, half sunk near the riverbank, its hull battered but intact. I waded over, every step a battle against the current, and froze. Painted on the side, clear as day, was that HOA logo, Victoria's mark. My blood boiled. Those sons of bitches didn't just sit back and watch this happen, they made it happen. I'd heard rumors of a dam upstream, had they fucked with it, unleashed this hell to break me? You goddamn monsters, I snarled, kicking the boat so hard my foot throbbed. It wasn't proof, not yet, but it was a smoking gun, and I'd shove it down their throats soon enough. By nightfall, the rain eased, but the damage was done. My driveway was a muddy trench, cutting me off from the world. The barn was leaning, half flooded, and half my herd was scattered or drowned. Max limped beside me, soaked and whining, and I could barely stand myself, drenched and shivering, every muscle screaming. I sank onto the porch, staring out at the wreckage, the oak tree still standing but surrounded by water like a damn island. Victoria and Damien, they'd turned nature itself into a weapon, and I was hanging by a thread. But I wasn't broken, not yet. You want me gone? I muttered, spitting into the mud. You'll have to kill me first, you fuckers. I was barely holding it together, patching what I could, Max limping at my side, when the universe decided to twist the knife deeper. Out of the blue, a beat-up pickup rolled up my ruined driveway, and there she was, Sophia, my sister, stepping out like a ghost from a life I'd left behind. I hadn't seen her in years, not since the funeral when she'd hugged me so tight I thought she'd break. We drifted, me running from my demons, her fighting hers. Ethan, what the hell happened here? She said, eyes wide at the wreckage. Her voice cracked, and for a second, I saw Sarah in her, same dark hair, same stubborn spark. Flood, I grunted, wiping mud off my hands. And some assholes who want me gone. She didn't ask more, just started hauling sandbags like she belonged here. I didn't know whether to hug her or tell her to get the fuck out before this place swallowed her too. Having her around was a lifeline I didn't expect. We worked side by side, fixing the barn, her chatter filling the silence that had been choking me. "You still talk to that tree?" she asked one night, nodding at Lily's oak. I froze, throat tight. "Yeah," I muttered. "Keeps me sane." She didn't push, just squeezed my shoulder, and damn if it didn't feel like family again. But I should have known, nothing good lasts when Victoria's got her claws out. It was a rainy night, the kind that turns everything to sludge, when they struck. I was in the barn with Sophia, patching a leak, when Max started growling, low and pissed. "Stay here," I told her, grabbing my flashlight, but before I could step out, the door crashed open, 3 of Damien's goons, big fuckers with hoods, storming in like they owned the place. "What the fuck?" I yelled, lunging for my shotgun, but one slammed me into the wall, my head cracking against the wood. Pain exploded, stars bursting in my eyes, and I heard Sophia scream. I fought like a madman, swinging wild, landing a fist in one guy's gut, but they were too many. "Get off him!" Sophia shouted, charging with a wrench, but they grabbed her, dragging her kicking and cursing into the rain. "Ethan," she shrieked, voice cutting through me like a blade. I stumbled up, blood dripping down my face, and bolted after them, the downpour blinding me. They shoved her into a van, fucking Damien's, I'd bet, tires spinning mud as it peeled out. I ran, till my lungs burned, slipping in the muck, roaring her name, but they were gone, swallowed by the dark. I stood there, soaked and shaking, rain mixing with the blood on my face, every muscle screaming. They'd taken her, my sister, the last damn piece of family I had left, because of me. Victoria and Damien, those sick bastards, had turned this into a personal gut punch, using Sophia to break me. I pounded the ground, mud splattering, cursing loud enough to wake the dead. "You motherfuckers! I'll kill you for this." My voice cracked, raw with rage and guilt. I'd lost Sarah and Lily to that crash, and now Sophia was in their hands because I couldn't protect her. Back at the house, I tore through my gear, shotgun, knives, whatever I could grab, mind racing with every fucked up thing they might do to her. That note from Victoria flashed in my head, "This land will devour you, just as it did your family." Now it was real, a living nightmare. Max whimpered beside me, still hurt from the flood, and I was a wreck, exhausted, battered, my ranch falling apart. The flood had cut me off, and now this? I was one man against a goddamn army, and they'd hit me where it hurt most. But I wasn't done. They'd lit a fire in me, a promise carved in blood, "No one touches my family and lives." "Hold on, Soph," I muttered, loading the gun. "I'm coming for you, you sons of bitches." That oak tree out back, Lily's tree, was the only damn thing still standing tall, roots clawing into the mud while everything else fell apart. I was a wreck, barely sleeping, running on fumes and fury, and then the real shitstorm rolled in. It started with the herd. After the flood, I'd been scrambling to round up what was left, but something was off, way off. One morning, I found Bessie, my best dairy cow, staggering near the barn, eyes glassy, foam dripping from her mouth. "What the fuck?" I muttered, rushing over. She collapsed before I got there, legs twitching, a pitiful moan rattling out of her. I knelt in the muck, hands shaking, and saw the signs, poison. Those goddamn barrels Victoria had stashed near my fence, the ones I'd suspected but couldn't prove, they'd leaked into the water, into my land. My herd was drinking death, and Bessie was just the first. I had no choice. I grabbed my rifle, tears burning my eyes, and put her down, right there, a single shot echoing across the ranch like a funeral bell. The barrel smoked in my grip, my hands trembling so bad I nearly dropped it. I'm sorry, girl, I choked out, sinking beside her, the smell of blood and wet fur choking me. She'd been with me since Lily's tree was just a sapling, a steady piece of this life I'd built. Now she was gone, and I was losing everything, Sarah, Lily, Sophia, and now even the damn animals I'd sworn to protect. But it didn't stop there. That bastard Damien wasn't content to let me bleed out slow, he had to twist the knife. The next night, I woke to a glow outside, a flickering orange nightmare cutting through the dark. I bolted out, Max barking like a mad dog, and saw it, my pasture, my goddamn lifeline, up in flames. The fire roared, a wall of heat and smoke, eating through the grass I'd spent years tending. You son of a bitch! I yelled, grabbing a shovel, beating at the edges like a lunatic. The stench of burning earth filled my lungs, ash raining down like some fucked up snowstorm. By the time I got it under control, half the field was gone, a charred wasteland mocking me in the moonlight. I stood there, chest heaving, shovel slipping from my blistered hands, staring at the carnage. The flood had already cut me off, Sophia's scream still haunted me, and now this, my water poisoned, my herd dying, my land torched. It was Damien's doing, no doubt, those cigar butts I'd found were his calling card, and this fire was his way of saying, give up, asshole. Victoria's poison and his flames, they were a tag team from hell, and I was caught in the crossfire, battered and bleeding but too damn stubborn to break. Every bone in me ached, every breath tasted like smoke and failure. Max limped over, his fur still matted from the flood, whining like he knew we were screwed. I'd lost weight, hadn't eaten right in days, surviving on black coffee and rage. The barn was a soggy mess, the house creaked like it might collapse, and my truck was still half buried in mud from the flood. I was one man against a goddamn army of disasters, and they were winning, stripping me bare, piece by piece. I sank onto the porch, rifle across my lap, staring at the smoldering field. The oak tree loomed in the distance, its branches swaying like a ghost in the haze. I can't lose you too, I whispered, thinking of Lily, of Sophia, of everything slipping through my fingers. Victoria and Damien, they weren't just after my land anymore, they were after my soul, trying to burn out the last flicker of fight I had left. But fuck that. I'd survived a crash that should have killed me, buried my girls, and clawed my way here. They wanted me broken. They'd have to bury me first. Keep coming, you bastards, I growled, spitting into the dirt. I'm still standing. Sheriff Marcus had been my rock through this shitstorm. He'd hauled off Damien's goons after they tried to poison my well, showed up after the flood to check the wreckage, even promised to track down Sophia. We'll get her back, Ethan, he'd said, clapping my shoulder like a brother. I trusted him, hell, I needed to. Out here, cut off by the flood, with Victoria and Damien closing in, he was the one guy I thought had my back. But that trust blew up in my face like a goddamn landmine. It was a quiet afternoon, the kind that feels too still after chaos. I was in the barn, patching the flood-damaged walls, when Marcus rolled up in his cruiser. Any word on Sophia? I called, wiping sweat off my brow. He stepped out, hat low, hands in his pockets, normal, except something felt off. Not yet, he said, voice flat. But I got something you should see. He tossed me a folded paper, and as I opened it, some bullshit HOA notice from Victoria, something slipped out, a military badge. Not just any badge, my old unit's insignia, the one I'd worn in the sandbox years ago. It hit the dirt, and my stomach dropped like a stone. What the fuck is this? I snapped, snatching it up. Marcus didn't flinch, just stared at me, eyes cold as ice. You tell me, Ethan. My mind raced, how'd he have this? I'd lost mine in the crash that took Sarah and Lily, never found it in the wreckage. Where'd you get it? I growled, stepping closer. He shrugged, casual as hell, but then it hit me, his cruiser at the well that night, his questions about my defenses, how Victoria's crew always seemed one step ahead. You're with them, I said, voice shaking. You're fucking with me. He smirked, actually smirked, the bastard. You're a hard nut to crack, Ethan. They needed eyes on you, and I was close enough. I lunged, grabbing his collar, slamming him against the barn wall. You sold me out, you son of a bitch. Sophia, where is she? He didn't fight back, just looked at me like I was a damn experiment. OPRM's bigger than you think, he said. Victoria's a pawn. I just keep the pieces moving. OPRM, some shadowy outfit I'd never heard of, but it clicked, the barrels, the flood, the fire, all coordinated, and Marcus was their inside man. I shoved him harder, my knuckles white. You let them take her. He coughed, still calm. Collateral. You're the real target, too stubborn, too dangerous. I roared, slamming my fist into the wall beside his head, splinters flying. Blood trickled from my hand, but I didn't feel it, just rage, betrayal, a knife twisting deeper than Victoria's threats ever could. This wasn't just about land anymore, it was a goddamn conspiracy, and the one guy I'd trusted had stabbed me in the back. He peeled himself off the wall, brushing his jacket like it was nothing. Walk away, Ethan. You can't win this. Then he got in his cruiser and drove off, leaving me standing there, shaking, the badge in my fist. I'd lost Sarah and Lily to fate, Sophia to those bastards, and now my trust, everything, was ash. The ranch felt like a trap closing in, floodwaters still pooling, smoke lingering from the fire. I was alone, Max whining at my feet, my herd dying, my sister gone, and Marcus had handed them the playbook. Fuck you, I spat into the dirt, voice breaking. They'd turned my ally into my enemy, and I was fucked, outmanned, outgunned, paranoid as hell. But I wasn't done. They'd lit a fire in me, and I'd burn their whole damn world down to get Sophia back. Sheriff Marcus's betrayal had gutted me, that badge in my fist a bitter reminder I couldn't trust a damn soul. My herd was half dead, Max limped like a war vet, and that oak tree, Lily's tree, stood as my last anchor in this shitstorm. I was done playing defense. Victoria and Damien wanted a war. I'd bring the fucking apocalypse to their doorstep. It came down on a night straight out of hell, rain pounding like bullets, thunder cracking the sky open. I'd rigged the place after Marcus's stab in the back, cameras, tripwires, and a homemade EMP I'd slapped together from old military scraps. I was in the barn, checking the feed, when Max growled, ears flat. The cameras flickered, black vans rolling up, no headlights, just shadows in the storm. Victoria stepped out, her smirk cutting through the dark, leading a pack of armed goons, Damien slinking behind her like a rat. Time's up, Ethan, she shouted over the wind. This ends tonight. I hit the EMP switch, and boom, every damn light in their vans fried, radios squawking static, their fancy-ass stun guns useless. The rain turned to chaos, lightning flashing as I bolted to the porch, shotgun ready. They charged, boots slogging through mud, and I unleashed hell, floodlights blazed on, blinding them, tripwires snapping, sending two sprawling into the muck. Fuck you. I roared, firing a warning shot that kicked up dirt near Victoria's feet. She didn't flinch, just pointed, and her crew opened fire, bullets tearing into the barn, splintering wood inches from my head. I dove behind the water trough, heart hammering, rain stinging my eyes. Max barked like a demon, dodging shots, and I saw her, Sophia, dragged from a van, wrists bound, soaked and screaming my name. Ethan. Her voice ripped through me, and I lost it, charged straight into the fray, slamming one goon into the ground, his rifle skittering away. Another swung at me, but I ducked, cracking his jaw with the shotgun but, blood spraying in the storm. Where is she, you bitch? I yelled at Victoria, who was closing in, a knife glinting in her hand. She lunged, slashing my arm, hot pain searing through me, but I grabbed her wrist, twisting hard. You can't win, Ethan, she shrieked, voice wild. They'll keep coming, forever. I snapped her arm back, bones crunching, and she dropped, howling. Then they'll die too, I snarled, kicking her into the mud. The last goons scattered as headlights cut through the rain, real cops this time, sirens wailing, tires chewing up my ruined driveway. "Drop it," an officer yelled, and the fight drained out of them, hands up, faces pale. I stumbled to Sophia, cutting her free, pulling her close as she sobbed into my chest. "I've got you," I whispered, blood and rain mixing on my skin. The cops hauled Victoria away, her glare promising revenge even in cuffs. Damien? That coward had bolted into the woods, no surprise there. Marcus was gone too, vanished like the traitorous fuck he was, leaving me to wonder how deep this shit went. I handed over every scrap, videos, the badge, Victoria's notes, enough to bury her and whatever OPRM was behind it. The ranch stood, barely, flooded, burned, scarred like me. Sophia stayed, till dawn, but when the sun rose, she hugged me tight and left, eyes haunted. "I can't stay, Ethan," she said, voice breaking. "This place, it's too much." I nodded, throat tight, watching her go, another piece of me walking away. Max nuzzled my leg, still limping, the only damn thing sticking by me. I sank beside Lily's tree, mud soaking my jeans, staring at the wreckage. Victoria was gone, Damien on the run, Marcus a ghost, but the quiet felt wrong, heavy with ghosts and what-ifs. I'd won, but fuck, it cost me, Sophia's trust, my peace, damn near my soul. The feds might have shut down OPRM, but I knew better, evil like that doesn't die easy. "You didn't break me," I muttered, spitting into the dirt, hand on the oak's bark. "Not yet, you bastards." The fight was over, but the war. That shit never ends.